What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over everything you need to know about Fortnite's new Superman update. As always, if you guys do find this video to be helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of this Superman update, and if you would like to use my creator code in the item shop when getting anything, it is EvolveJake, and it is underneath the webcam at all times. So today, Fortnite added a new Superman mythic in-game, and you can now become Superman in Fortnite with today's new update. Similar to the Godzilla update and the Star Destroyer bombardment, there will be a Superman logo that spawns in on the map, and then the first player to reach it gets to become Superman for a period of time. Currently, this is at a 50% spawn chance as of the time I'm recording this video, but I could definitely see this changing at some point in the future because this is what Fortnite kind of typically does with these style updates, is they start it at a lower percent chance and then kind of increase it over time. And Superman currently spawns in before second zone happens, so it is relatively early on in the match for you to be able to become Superman. It's about like 4 minutes into the game, I believe. I'll have the locations where Superman can spawn on screen now, and as you can see, they're pretty much all near the center of the map. So if you want the best chance to become Superman, you're going to kind of want to be near as many of these spawn locations as you can, near the middle of the map, about 4 minutes or so into the game. There is a brief period of time where it shows the logo, like where it's going to spawn before it actually spawns in, so you have time to get there. It's not like you need to just be standing on the spot to hopefully get lucky. And it actually is best to not be standing directly on it before it spawns, because when it does spawn in, it knocks everything away from it within a certain radius. So if you're standing too close to where it is, you're going to get knocked away, and then somebody else could swoop in and take it. So it's kind of best to be near it, but not too close that you get knocked away. And kind of learning that radius and distance, I think it's just something that you kind of got to get a feel for while playing. It was larger than what I expected, even after the first time I experienced it. And I think the dashes that you can get from the dash spray is pretty helpful in getting to it, because you can easily just dash to it after that knockback occurs and then hopefully get to it. Doesn't seem like there's an animation or activation for it. You just kind of get to it first and then you have it. You don't have to like confirm it or anything. If you are able to become Superman, you have two offensive abilities. You have his punch and laser vision. I found the punch to be significantly more useful than the laser vision. It was doing about 80 damage, and you can do it kind of quickly. The only problem is that a lot of times when you punch someone, they'll get knocked away. But if you're able to like knock them into a wall or a mountain or something, then you can just spam the punches out and just quickly get that elimination. The laser vision I thought was quite pitiful. I'm not sure if the range on it is just terrible, but when I was shooting people with the laser vision, it felt like I might as well just not be doing this. Like, it did not seem good at all. And then you can also fly as Superman, but his movement is not incredibly fast. I felt very slow while using him. And enemy players using mobility, it felt like they had a very easy time escaping me when I played as Superman. You do get siphon from elimination, so you'll get some health back after you eliminate people as Superman, but his HP does not feel like a lot, and you can get melted quite quick. Overall, I think the Superman mythic is quite weak. I know a lot of people saw this coming out and they're like, oh, this is going to completely ruin the game. If you were one of those people and you thought this was going to be really overpowered, that is not the case. I think it's quite weak. The first time I was able to become Superman, I lost most of my HP before I was even able to land, because it does spawn you up in the sky when you first become him. And as I said, his flying isn't very fast, and so many people in the lobby are just fixated on shooting you. So yeah, I was not impressed with this. Or I was not impressed with like the power level of being Superman, I guess. If you are eliminated, you do spawn back in as your player form. So it's not really like you have to worry about, oh, I got to become Superman and my entire game depends on this. You'll still get to come back as a regular player. And like Godzilla, there's only a certain amount of time you can even play as Superman. Even if no one damages you, it times out after about like 4.5 minutes. So if you, even though this sounds pretty weak, if you absolutely hate this and it makes you not want to play the game, all you have to do is not be in the area Superman is in while it spawns, and you're probably not going to have to ever interact with it. I think it is very limited. Superman does have a significant damage boost versus spires and versus vehicles, But I think most people are just going to get Superman and then go for like a few quick kills before their time is up. I don't really see people like getting it and then going for the Spire. And as I said, the movement isn't the fastest anyway, so you might just get eliminated by other players by the time you even get to that Spire, unless there's one very, very, very close to you. I think for a lot of players, it's best to not even become Superman. Like, if you want to become Superman because, you know, it's fun and it's something different, you know, that's cool, good for you. But if you just want to win the game and play well, it's actually kind of advantageous, I think, to not become Superman, because there's a new boon that was added today, and this boon is incredibly good in my opinion. It improves your sprint so that you can sprint faster while consuming less stamina. And this boon, like the other ones this season, it does get upgraded as your hero ranks increase, improving its effect. I'll have it on screen now, and just watch my stamina bar as I'm sprinting across the map like this, and just pay attention to how long I can sprint. It's not quite unlimited stamina, but for most situations, it's going to be unlimited stamina. And you get this boon by just dealing damage to Superman. I believe it's about like 100 damage. Every time I was shooting Superman, I got it very quick, but it wasn't like I just immediately got it for damaging him once. So it seems like there's maybe some amount of damage you have to do, or, you know, just Fortnite being Fortnite and things were weird sometimes. But lots of people can get it. The amount of damage you have to do is not ridiculous. You don't have to be the one that does the most damage to him. You don't have to be the one that gets the killing blow. You just have to do, you know, a little bit of damage to Superman, and then you get this boon, which like I said, I think is very good. And I think the main downside of becoming Superman is just that you can't get this boon, because the only way to get the boon is to deal damage to Superman. So me personally, outside of trying to record content for this video, I would rather just not even become Superman at all. That way I can damage him and get that boon. If you are trying to get this, I would say just try to be kind of in the area that he's going to spawn in, and then quickly get your damage and then get out while you can, because there will often be lots of players going for Superman in this area, and it can get really chaotic. And a lot of times I was in this area trying to get it for the video. I wouldn't get it, but like all the other players in the area just weren't even concerned about me and weren't even concerned about, you know, protecting themselves from me. So I was getting, you know, pretty easy eliminations on people that were too tunnel visioned on Superman. And that would be something I highly recommend. If you're going for this, get your damage on Superman when you can, but you don't want to be too tunnel visioned on him, because while some people might be, there will definitely be other players in the area that, you know, defend themselves and pick off the other enemies. You still need to focus on the other enemies in the area. I think it's better to be the one that shoots first rather than the one who, you know, gets punished because you're too tunnel visioned on Superman, I think. So also, if Superman is trying to eliminate you, I think really all you have to do is use mobility and try to escape. I kind of touched on this earlier, but I feel like Superman is quite slow. So if you have any mobility items, like the base boost gloves, shockwaves, grenades, dashes, the grappler, the mist form cape, the what is the other thing that we have in the game right now? I'm like blanking, but either way, oh, the surf cube. There's so much mobility in the game right now, so that as long as you have one of these by the time he's spawning in, I think it'll be pretty easy to avoid him. If you have no mobility at all, it might be best to just not go to that area, or at the very least try to play it from range, because mobility is going to be your main way to get away from him or to survive him. But also, as I touched on, these areas can get very chaotic. And so if you don't have any mobility, it's probably going to be pretty hard for you to play the game here, pretty hard for you to survive. So if you don't have mobility, I would not recommend going for him. If you don't care to have the boon, like the improved sprint just doesn't sound like that big of a deal to you, you probably just want to avoid this area altogether, because the more chaotic things are, the more random it is, I feel like. And this is going to be a situation that is very, very chaotic. If Island spawns far from him, it can make getting the core medallion somewhat easy, because a lot of players are going to be drawn to that area. And the island will spawn like a minute or so after he spawns, I think. Like, I believe Superman spawns in first zone closing, and then core or the island spawns in second zone. So there's like a little bit of time discrepancy between or where these overlap, and that can make going for island when Superman is still alive a somewhat easy play, or an easy way for you to quickly get that medallion, which is nice. And if I was just going for the boon, as I said, I would just want to quickly get out of there and then, you know, try to be where Island is to get that medallion as fast as I can, because I really like having that medallion. as of the time I'm recording this, Superman is supposed to not be in ranked mode or, you know, tournament playlists, but Fortnite always changes things just randomly, so who knows, it might end up showing up in ranked, but I believe as of now that is not supposed to be the case. But that is going to be it for this video. As always, if you guys did find this to be, you know, helpful, informative, or interesting. Actually, the Superman POI was not in this update. It's coming on Tuesday, July 15th. So we have a few more days until the Fortress of Solitude POI comes out. Not really sure why it didn't come with him, but to be honest, I'm in favor of kind of spacing them out. That way we just get, you know, more special update days like this. But now that is going to be it for this video. As always, if you enjoyed this, give it a like, subscribe if you like some more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. God dang, bro. There's a god aim. I'm trying to knock him away when I gloved, so he couldn't hit me, but I didn't knock him into the water. That guy's aim was good, though. I think there's, like, barrels outside this building. Bro. Is this guy legit? This guy's more dangerous than Superman. Yeah, he just, like, does not miss a shot. Oh, dude, I thought I would maybe grief him to fall there. I have to push it. I don't know where he went. Oh. I don't know how loaded my AR is. Yeah, I don't accuse people often, but that guy was never missing a shot and did not seem good. Like, his decision making was not great, but he was just not missing. And usually that's like one of the more sus things. If someone has like god aim, usually they're just someone who's played a lot and is like decent at the game, or they've played a lot of games in general and they're just like decent. But that player was, I feel like all his skill points were in aim. That was why I wanted to push him, even though my AR wasn't loaded. Like, once I had a decent start to the fight, it might not ever get better than that. I don't want him to get away and heal.